Peace, everyone, and Happy New Year. And today we're going to actually talk about the New Year, as there's a lot of debates that go on about the New Year. The New Years are several when you understand different cultures, okay? And when you look at the United States of America, obviously we know that the New Year is January the 1st, right? And it's every year on January the 1st. So like the first thing I want you to understand is every time there is an annual event on the same month, same day, different year, but same month, same day, different year, same month, same day, different year, that is a measurement between the earth and the sun. That's it. All right. And when you look at, let's just say, for example, the Chinese New Year. The Chinese New Year starts in February. Sometimes it could be late January. And it differs. Why does it differ? Well, their New Year differ because they deal with about on the new moon, in the Aquarius new moon, or a day after the Aquarius new moon becomes their new year. And the new moon is just simply when you take the moon and the sun and the moon lines perfectly up with the sun. Okay, that's the new moon. All right. And that doesn't take place every year on the same day. All right. The moon has her own little schedule that she operates off of. She is not on this fixed point. There's not going to be a full moon every January the 2nd, just because the full moon is on January the 2nd. All right, that don't happen that way. So when things differ, when there's a celebration that's differing from year to year and it's not this fixed point, usually what's happening is they're measuring their newness or their event based off of when the moon aligns with the sun. Okay? So the Chinese New Year starts when the moon joins the sun in the same constellation, and that's Aquarius. All right, but interesting because we are in the age of Aquarius. See, each zodiac sign rules an age for approximately 2,160 years. We're in the age of Aquarius. So Aquarius rules the next 2,000 years. All right. So when we look at the Jewish New Year or Hebrew New Year, Rosh Hashanah, notice how that changes as well, right? Because that's usually when the new moon is in Virgo. Sometimes it can be in Libra, all right? And then in Islam, the Islamic calendar follows 1 month after the Jewish or Hebrew New Year, all right? So if you have for the Hebrew aspect, if you had the moon and the sun are together in Virgo, the next month when the moon joins the sun is in Libra, then there goes the Islamic New Year. And notice in Islam, their symbol is a crescent moon. And notice in Judaism or in the Hebrew Israelite community, you notice the 6-pointed star. So the star is a celestial body and the moon is a celestial body. So it appears to us that the New Year's is predicated upon some type of celestial alignment or something that you're measuring. So take, for example, your birthday. Your birthday is, whatever your birthday is, every year you celebrate it on the same fixed point, right? Because you're measuring something. You're measuring when you were born, and then the earth keeps on moving, and then 365 days later, the earth is exactly back where it was when you were born. So your birthday is a measurement of time. All right? It's a measurement of an earth's journey going around the sun. So it appears that calendar makers they make calendars based off an observation of something. So the question becomes, then what are we observing? You know, we know if the sun and moon together in certain cultures, that becomes, you know, they mark their new year right there. Well, let me tell you this, because you have people, you know, when spring starts, people are like, yeah, this is the real new year because it's springtime. And we understand that. That's a great observation. But if it's springtime and you're in the northern hemisphere, all right, you're in the United States of America or anything north of the equator, if it's springtime for you, it's the opposite for those that's in the south, all right? So your summer is South America's winter and vice versa. So if you making an observation that it's springtime for you, but it's the beginning of the fall for those in South America, then your reference of a new time is only relative to your demographic, to where you are geographically located. That's it. And there's nothing wrong with that because it's where you live. But it doesn't speak for the entirety of the earth. It's only a portion of the earth. So in other words, for those of us in the northern hemisphere, let's just say the top half of the earth, when it's spring for us, it's fall for those at the bottom, right? So if you want to say, well, this is the new year, there's a whole group of people, a whole earth of people on the bottom half who says, wait a minute, nature is starting to fall down. This is not the new year. See, it's only important to your observation. That's it. So what is the new year about for the United States of America? And I'm going to say this. This is the best New Year day that you could possibly have. It is the best. Absolutely the best. And this is why I keep saying that the United States of America is the world's biggest superpower, because little do we know it is rooted inside of spiritual principles that are aligned with the heavens. Washington, D.C. by itself shows you that. We have a big old monument that's, you may call it an obelisk. In Egypt, they call it a tekken, that's pointing at the heavens. And we know that certain buildings were aligned to certain stars. So the New Year's for us is when the earth, like today, January the 2nd, the earth is at the closest point to the sun. This is called the perihelion. And it happens on average on anywhere from January the 2nd and 3rd and 4th up in that area. So January 1st is really a commemoration of a celebration when the earth is closest to the sun. Think about that. Because the earth goes in a circle around the sun. There's a point, because it's not centered, there's a point where the earth is closest, and then there's a point where the earth is furthest. Then it comes back, January the 1st is closest, then it goes back around and is furthest. So this closeness to the sun, which is the life giver, which generates life on this planet, right? That is a cosmic respect of an astronomical truth. It's just not the top part of the earth in the northern hemisphere for those of us who want to celebrate spring. And nor if we had the same ideology if we were in the southern hemisphere and say it's the beginning of spring, this is the new year, because it gets cold for the people that's on top in the northern hemisphere. The entire earth is at its closest to the sun. Okay, this is a fact. But there's another phenomenon that's taking place here. And I am telling you this because I'm giving you the spiritual symbolism of how it works in this reality. The spiritual truth to this is, and I talked about this on another video, the earth is also in alignment with Sirius. So I want you to envision that this microphone is Sirius. Then this finger is the earth. And here go the sun. So we're closest to the earth at this time, and we're in direct alignment with Sirius. Sirius is the brightest star in all of the heavens. Sirius. It's so bright that it's actually said to be a sun. It's so far away it looks like a star, but it's a sun. Interesting, because the ancient record, especially those coming out of Africa, the Dogon, has just a vast knowledge of this star. In fact, the Dogon are taught and teach that we actually come from Sirius to the earth. Beings, intelligent beings, come from Sirius to the earth. All right? So, the spiritual irony of this is because when you take it over to the Egyptian culture, which you would call the Kemetic culture, who had a very vast knowledge of the celestial spheres. The temple of Isis was dedicated to this particular star. This is a fact. And its columns, its entrance was built so at a certain time of the year when Sirius lines up with the star, you understand what I'm saying? This will be the commemoration of new things, like a new year. So for them, let's say one of the new years, and that's the thing, you can have different type of calendar systems for one civilization. You can do that. It depends what you're measuring. You can have a civil new year, you can have a solar new year, and then you can have what's called a Sothic or a Syrian year with star Sirius, all right? And you can have a lunar new year when you want to measure the moon, you see? So you can have different calendars within one system. We were that advanced that we were actually doing that. So the temple of Alset, or the temple of Isis, is dedicated to the star Sirius. This is a fact. Well, today, January the 2nd, 2016, the day that the sun and the earth are at their closest connection, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing departed, and she traveled back home through a gateway, through a portal. Okay? Now, we know her for what? The Isis Papers is perhaps her most public piece of work. All right? The Isis Papers. I told you the temple of Isis was built in commemoration of the star Sirius. In fact, it is said that Alset, which is Isis, is Sirius, the great mother star. So how is it when you see Dr. Frances Cress Welsing with the Isis paper, you're not looking at Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, you're really looking at Isis. This is how spirituality, spiritual symbolism, or your ancestors, as we would say, is speaking directly to you. Okay? So she is Isis. She was the embodiment of Isis, called the Isis Papers. Okay? Now, you think that it's a coincidence that she broke up out of here and left this physical form the day that Sirius, then the earth, and then the sun are in perfect alignment with one another? No. See, remember, my name is Ampu. Ampu is the one that weighs the heart on the scales of justice, right? But it's to show you the transformation of the underworld. So when it comes to the deceased, the dead, I'm going to explain that phenomenon to you very clearly. All right. So when we understand that that's not a coincidence, all right, I show you another divine symbol, a sign of how it works. Now, mind you, we just don't talk about these things. We actually participate and put our thoughts in alignment with the cosmic groove. So back in 2013, it was that year when we traveled up to Grandfather Mountain in North Carolina to do a summer solstice celebration. The summer solstice for us is when we have the most amount of daylight, and it appears in our reality the sun is at its highest peak in the sky. Summer solstice. And we do a powerful prayer, a powerful meditation. The summer solstice is like June 20th, 21st. We were there 21st, 22nd. We leave, and on the 24th, a few days after we leave, and I'm going to show you the picture, a bald eagle by the name of Isis died at Grandfather Mountain. See, you have to learn how to see evidence of your thoughts. You have to see your thoughts manifest in different ways. The ancients know about this science. It's called the art of, or the law of correspondence. All right? So is it a coincidence that an eagle died? And what is the eagle? The eagle itself is the great messenger. The great messenger. There's been times, and many of you who know our work, there's been times where we can specifically meditate on one specific thing collectively, all of us together. If we all meditate and think about one thing, that one thing that we will think about will pop up in the news. It will pop up it will absolutely pop up for you if we all do it together. All right? So it's no difference then. And here's a little exercise. Start exercising the power of your mind. Think about something that you want, that you desire, because that gives you a positive emotion. And when you think about that, watch how it pops up in your reality. You may see it going down the street. You may see it on TV. It'll start to pop up if you start to think about it. All right? So try that. All right? So I'm saying that to say, everyone, it is the new year. When you look at Canada, Canada Day is July the 1st. That's because, remember, here goes Sirius, here go the Earth, here go the Sun. But on July 1st, the Earth did move, and now here go the Sun, and here go the Earth. All right? So it's Sirius, Sun, Earth. That's Canada Day. Well, July 1st, we know that's right around July the 4th. That's a celebration. So, when you look at July 4th, you think it's predicated, and it is, it's predicated upon independence from Britain, the 13 colonies. But you got to ask yourself, why they stop at 13? They could have had 12, 11, 14, 15. Why 13? Because 13 symbolizes 13 degrees Cancer. Now, what is that? Now, I'm going to say this. If this is Sirius, the constellation Canis Major, this bright star, it doesn't quite sit in the zodiac belt. It sits below the zodiac belt. All right? So let's just say, here's the constellation Cancer above Sirius. And this is 13 degrees Cancer. Now, this is the zodiac belt. This is the zodiac sign Cancer right here. So, but a little bit up under 13 degrees Cancer is Sirius. You see? Although Sirius doesn't sit in the zodiac belt itself, it sits a little below the zodiac belt, a little bit below under 13 degrees Cancer. So when July the 4th comes, what happens? The Sun is in front of Sirius. And then there's a celebration on the 4th of July. You see what I'm saying? So it's talking about a Sun-Sirian connection. So at that time of year, the Sun is emitting its light to the planet Earth, but it's also emitting light from Sirius because there's a direct alignment, and it's hot. It's the middle of July. All right? So it's hot. These are known as the dog days. All right? So that's a celebration for Canada's Canada Day. Canada Day says, listen, we want to respect the fact that the Earth is in alignment with the Sun and Sirius. The United States of America says, listen, we're going to respect the fact that the Earth is in alignment with Sirius and the Sun is on the other side, but we're in alignment with both, and we have to balance both energies. So in other words, this is the only time of year, the perihelion right now, this is the only time of year that the Earth is in direct alignment with Sirius, with nothing else being in between unless a planet is coming through. But we can have direct access to this great body, this great star that the ancient African people and other cultures also venerated. Very important. The entire Earth is in alignment with this particular star. Okay? So in a nutshell, that is the new year. It has nothing to do with the Gregorian calendar and Julian calendar and things of that nature, although they were going back and forth over the absolute correctness of timekeeping. The question is, does it take the Earth 365 days to travel around the Sun? If the answer is yes, okay, fine, it's yes. Then what you call it don't matter. If we say, listen, it takes 365 days to go in this circle, we divide this up into 12 months. It don't matter if you call the months August, and if I'm commemorating my man Augustine. It don't matter if I call the month Booger. It doesn't matter what I call the month. Is the measurement, is the mathematics correct? Is it a celestial alignment going on? Is that alignment even correct? And it is. So what happens is, in our pursuit of consciousness, in our pursuit of truth, we interject emotions inside of it because we just been bamboozled and hit upside the head, and history has been not in our favor, and a whole bunch of stuff that happened, and immediately we go to the emotional aspect and we say, well, that's not the new year. The new year is when spring is coming, and that's fine. It can be, but again, that doesn't answer for the entire earth. This new year answers for the entire earth, and it's the only time of the year that is in direct alignment with the mother star, which was venerated through the ancient records and scrolls. So Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, the mother of the Isis papers, who obviously was an embodiment of the ancient Egyptian female mother goddess, who had a temple dedicated to her based off Sirius, did not leave here today as a mere coincidence. It is to show you what the Great Mother is saying. Now, I'm going to say it again. If you want to know about the Great Mother, when we go to mountains and pray, when we just don't read the scripture, we actually become scripture. When we go to the mountain and pray and meditate, things happen. Isis dies as a divine symbol to show you that the mother goddess, the mother energy, is alive and very well conscious. Very well conscious. All right? And she resides with humanity, everyone, and she definitely resides here with the Inner Peace Lighthouse. So happy New Year. Celebrate. This is a magnificent time. And the flip side of it is July 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, up in that days, when the sun is in alignment with Sirius and then the earth is looking at both of these energies. That's the flip side of the coin. Okay? So happy New Year. I greet you all in peace. Peace.